Hey, you got time for a beer? I know I do. Welcome to my show. My name's Jake. It's not Thursday, but I do have a new beer here for you. You can find me on Untapped YouTube, Twitter, and Instagram, all at tubajake_69. Tell me your stories. I like to hear them. Hopefully you do too, because I'm going to tell you at least one today. And I'd like to say that I'm running out of stories, but I've got lots, and I'll keep telling the same ones over and over. It's a thing that I do. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, because it makes it so that other people get to see what I'm doing, and I like other people to see what I'm doing. That's why I put this out there. So the beer that I've got for you today is Voodoo Ranger. It's by New Belgium. It's their Fruit Force Fruit Punch IPA. New Belgium does a bunch of stuff. They just bought Bell's not too long ago. It says something about Colorado and something about South Carolina, being brewed in Asheville, North Carolina, Fort Collins, Colorado, and Comstock, Michigan. I'd like to say this is probably from Comstock, Michigan, but my guess is that it's not. But it could be. Who knows? So anyway, Fruit Force should be good, right? Let's get this guy going. Okay, so this is one of those ones where I'm like, oh, that looks interesting. It's worth a shot because it's got one of those three things that I look for in a beer that are all like super different than what I would expect them to be. They sound like they're not supposed to be the right things. I like my beers to be dark, light, and a little bit fruity. This one is one of those things, which means that I want to try it. This is not at all what I was expecting this to look like. Okay, so it's an IPA. Looks like, well, I mean, it's a fruity IPA, so at that point you're expecting something kind of more East Coast, so it's going to be a little bit more cloudy. However, they do that a lot of, and Fruit Force, it's going to be fruity. It will be, but you know, fruity. So fruity and cloudy, but also Fruit Punch. I'm expecting this to be red. Like deep red, like Kool-Aid red is what I'm expecting. It is obviously not that, which is weird because I did have one of these the other day on my, just after I got home. And I was expecting this to be red because it tastes red. So let's see what it tastes like, smells like now. I'm getting a lot of red fruit kinds of things, strawberries, raspberries, stuff like that. What are those called? June berries, sugar plums. Those are the same thing, so you know. And it tastes like cherry Kool-Aid mostly. The head on that, cherry Kool-Aid. That's what it tastes like. Weird, right? And the more of it that I drink, I mean, there's a little bit of bitter from hops that you can taste kind of at the back end, but the rest of my mouth is filled with fruit. It's like I'm drinking jungle juice, if you will. Is there a beer this reminds me of? Jungle juice. I'm trying to think of an actual thing, an actual beer that this might remind me of. I just had Critterless today for the first time in a while. I've had it before, but that one's red. Also brewed, if I remember correctly, I want to say it's without yeast, but I'm not positive on that. Could just be that they didn't put yeast in it, and it's all from the grapes they put in it, because it's very red and very, you know, kind of grapey, and sometimes you can make that happen that way, but I don't know. But that one's pretty good. Fairly close to this, but it doesn't look anything like this. It's red. Okay, so does this remind me of a story? Yes. Okay, so in the wintertime, right around this time of year, actually, in the middle of February or so, the tubas would Sorry about that. Technical difficulties, whatnot. So anyway, summer hummer party. So we get together and make summer hummer, which is vodka, cheap beer, and obviously cheap vodka, cheap beer, and lemonade concentrate. You put those all together. 12-pack of beer, I want to say that it's a fifth that we would usually put in of the vodka. I'm pretty sure it's only supposed to be a pint, but you know, because. And then it's supposed to be one thing of the lemonade concentrate, but we would usually do two, because then it takes away the vodka taste and it makes everybody happier. It sounds like a great idea. It's never a great idea, but it's a lot of fun. Like the first time we did it, I think we put like fruit and stuff in the first batch that we made, but obviously we made more than one. I had a friend that got there Dave got there like an hour late, and we've been drinking and most of it was gone, and there were 15 people there probably, and everyone was blasted. It was kind of amazing that it happened so quickly. But every time that this would come up, I'd be like, it sounds delicious, but it also sounds like it's never a good idea, but it sounds like a great idea to get dressed in your summer clothes, your shorts and your Hawaiian shirts. I do believe that someone one year wore my grass skirt and coconut bra. Mikey, I'm thinking about you. That's not what he came dressed in, but that ended up on someone. I mean, they took it off of my penguin. Not that I do have a penguin. I've got an inflatable penguin. Emperor penguin, stands about 3 feet tall. He's kind of cute. I think he's next door. If I remember correctly, still with a grass skirt and coconut bra, because that's what he wears, obviously. But that's not where, that's kind of where this story is going, but not really. So anyway, that's not what this reminds me of. What this reminds me of is one year we decided to join this party up with one of our friends. Buttercup had her birthday right around now. It was a few days ago. Happy birthday, Buttercup. And they decided to do some, not summer hummer, something more along the lines of jungle juice. So we made a big bunch of stuff. We had it in the big coolers, because they were planning on having a lot of people, because their house was big. There were 10 people that lived there. So, everybody invites 2 people. That's a lot of people already. But when they sent out the invite on Facebook, she didn't realize that she had made it public so that people could share it, not just with their friends, but friends of friends could share it. So they ended up, because I wasn't really living there, although I did sort of have a room there, but I was not living there. We ended up with like 200 people at this party. And most of them we didn't invite, but a lot of them brought their own booze, which was nice. But a lot of them drank that booze too. And that's what I was planning on drinking. So I didn't get a bunch to drink that night. But I mean, it's probably the least drunk I've ever been at a summer hummer party. I think, actually, I do believe. And that night was a lot of fun. I don't remember if it was that night or a different night that ended up standing around with my brother and another guy talking about the dot tests, where you look to see if you're colorblind, and the 3 of us are all colorblind, and we're looking to see which numbers we could see in these things. And like, is that what it looks like to you? And we're all like, yes. And they're like, well, it's not supposed to look like that. It was not helpful up until like 5 o'clock in the morning. I'm like, dude, we need to go to bed. It's late. Nobody else is awake. We did eventually, but I mean, it was weird. Some good times in that house. Oddly enough, when my brother lived there, it wasn't the first time I'd been in that house. I'd known other people that had been there, that had lived there. People from my hometown lived there before. But that's probably a different story. So anyway, I've got a quote for you today. This one is from John Glenn, astronaut, all-around good guy. He said, "We are more fulfilled when we are involved in something bigger than ourselves." So get involved with something. It'll make you feel better. Something bigger than yourself. Volunteer. That's why the AA people do what they do. Believe in a higher power. It's good for you. And they'll get you involved in bigger things. Get involved in government if that's your thing. Do that too. It's good for you. So, don't forget, you can find me at tubajake_69 at Untapped YouTube, Twitter, and Instagram. Don't forget to tell me your stories. I like to hear them. Hopefully you do too, because I'm going to tell stories, because that's what I do. That's what this thing is about. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, because it means that other people get to hear my stories, and I want that. I don't know if you do, but I would prefer that other people get to hear these too, because I've got a lot of stories. I think that's all I got for you. I guess I'll see you next time when you got time for a beer.